side.
There's three things important when it comes to mind when corporate people make movies, and I credit Red Letter Media for pointing this out to me. 1, brand recognition, non-existent. 2, marketability, didn't have it. And 3, effing money. And the only thing they could really make out of this is marketability. Doing so, they would have to introduce people like Natalie Portman. It's like, oh yeah, fanboy favorite chick. And then make it, had the traditional movie elements.
There are stupid selling out things like casting Nicolas Cage as Superman. That would have been foolish to do. But things like this, making it funny, okay? Casting Natalie Portman, things like that. They're not bad choices.
They're playing it safe because even something as monumentally successful and credited as being a landmark in film, and which I do agree, I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. Star Wars, is it does have a very not traditional storyline. It's safe. It's very basic. It's good versus evil. It's the characters though, and it was the way they told the story. It was the effects and stuff like that that really made it stand out, which really make it stand out still today. Deal with a simple story, play it safe, and then make that story good, which is what they did. This movie jumps back and forth really well between, this high adventure fantasy world and then this really lighthearted, fun comedy.
And I think it's very interesting how, they were jumping between Asgard and Earth every couple minutes. But it makes it seem like it's, they're in the same world, It's not like you have this big chunk on Asgard, which you do. You have, 30 minutes on Asgard, and then the rest of the movie on Earth, But it jumps back to Asgard and Jotunheim, which is the Frost Giants planet. Mm-hmm.
Which always kind of frustrated me, because I knew that they were saying Jotunheim, but I could hear it as Odin, and that, the average movie-going audience, the average texting, whispering Dumases are not going to be paying attention and are probably getting confused. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but it's like if they were just jumping from city to city. It makes it just all seem like it's in one universe. And it helps make it more relevant for the time when the Justice League actually comes out. And they actually, are...
It's the Avengers.
Damn it!
Yes, no, stop. The Avengers, Marvel, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine. Yes, they are part of the Avengers at one point or another.
They just made 2 Batman movies. Wasn't...
No, that's the Justice League.
The Dark Knight.
That's the Justice League. That's Batman, Wonder Woman,
It came out the same year as Iron Man.
We're gonna have a talk. I hate you.
Well, anyway, let's sum up what we thought, because we've kind of just gone on about little parts of it.
Yeah.
Let's try to build it up. I think it's a great movie. If it's not one of Marvel's best movies, it's definitely one of my favorites.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Remembered it. I remembered it. Can we talk about it?
I've seen it 3 times already. It's great. It's superbly entertaining all the way through. I love these kinds of movies that balance the drama, balance the action, and balance the humor perfectly. A movie that always came to mind was The Mask of Zorro. That's the first thing I said when it was over. Yeah. It reminded me of The Mask of Zorro. One of my all-time favorite movies. Mm-hmm. Lord of the Rings did it. Star Wars did it. Any great movie that everybody has seen does it. Shrek, Spider-Man, what else? I'm not, all these movies.
Godfather!
No.
Scarface! Citizen Kane!
The action sequences, the whole movie is exciting. The action sequences aren't completely thrilling. The first battle with the Frost Giants is great. It's a little too dark. It's way too dark.
I didn't think that at all. I actually really like that.
I like the sequence. There's a battle with the Destroyer that's pretty brief. Yeah. And the fight at the end with Loki and Thor, I think really works. It's like...
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Scene...
I heard a lot of people complain about that.
The scene... That's when the brotherly conflict really comes together, and I think that's a really, really good part. Because you actually sense that they're... Because, Thor doesn't want to fight Loki. I won't fight you, brother, because, he's had his change of heart. He had a Grinch moment, and his heart grew. But then Loki starts making dicky comments, and then Thor fights back, and that's a really good scene, because you can tell that they're, they're kind of reluctantly trying to kill each other.
Yeah, but I'm going to comment on something.
Loki less than Thor.
I wanted to comment on that a little bit. Thor's story arc, as we can say, when I first saw it, I wasn't too impressed by it. I thought, of course, he goes onto Earth, he talks to a pretty girl, and then all of a sudden, wha-bam! Right. But the second time I viewed it, I realized it wasn't so. I hate in movies when there's that scene when you realize that the hero has a change of heart. It came to mind really strongly in The Princess and the Frog, where it's like this unbearable jackass of a human being, this most unlikable male that has ever been in a Disney animated movie. Oh, now we're supposed to like him because they had a musical number together. No, not acceptable. Thor, he has moments, I think, that are impressive. Like when he finds out, allegedly, that his father is dead, or when he realizes he is unworthy to
pick up his hammer.
Hold Mjolnir.
Yeah. I mean, there's that. He knows he's unworthy to, it's his baby.
Yeah, he's holding this hammer, but he be not worthy, so he shall not wield the power of Thor. Well, bam.
Yeah, and then
pipe and smoke it.
He feels responsible for his dad's death, and he knows he's not allowed to come back home. He thinks his mother was the one who told him that he couldn't come home. So he feels terrible. And it's not like Thor was just cocky and violent, and he wasn't like completely pretentious. He wasn't like
he wasn't like
he wasn't an idiot.
He wasn't a bad person.
He was a hothead.
Yeah,
okay?
he was a hothead.
It's a character trait that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have and live normal lives. Okay, it's just he needed that kick.
Yeah, and I think there's a really good scene where you really realize his change of heart is when at the end, Loki's trying to do a bunch of bad stuff on Earth, and he finally, he comes before Loki in a way, and he's like telling him, these people are innocent, take me instead. And I really thought that was a good moment where he's not going to settle things through violence. Technically, he's incapable of doing that at the moment, but he decides, he makes the hero sacrifice, and that really, especially me, I really like that kind of thing in a story.
Right.
Now, backing up a little bit, you mentioned the fight scenes. Something I want to talk about in this is some of the effects. And usually I'm not that big into effects. Effects don't make or break a movie for me. My deal, though, is if you could have done it a different way to make it look more realistic, why didn't you? That's what bugged me. To me, the standalone example of that is in the Star Wars prequels.
Why don't we talk about Thor?
Hold on! Is in the Star Wars prequels when they use computer to generate the clone troopers.
Yeah, George Lucas is an idiot. Why are we talking about him?
It's an example! It's a storytelling tool. And if you tell a good story, I don't care. But sometimes the abundance of it can be a little distracting. But it's still entertaining. It doesn't detract from it that much. Like, the monster thing, I don't think that looked very good at all. And that thing was kind of just thrown in there at the end of a battle. The battle is part of the story. The monster thing is an effect.
But he flies through its face. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Tangent. It is pretty cool. Something I want to talk about right quickly, maybe it's like as our ending comments, as we wind it down for today, is... The hell was that?
Frost Giant!
I appreciate that. Anyway, is Thor as it stands as a tie-in to the other Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I think this did a fantastic job of being... Let's try again! It did a fantastic job of being its own thing as well as tying into the other movies, because Hulk its tie-ins are pretty much non-existent.
Yeah,
Hulk. And I frickin' love Hulk.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk. I freaking love the Incredible Hulk. I like it way more than Iron Man. Sorry, fanboys!
Problem?
Iron Man 1, not so much until the ending scene, which
was the first one. It had all the rights to do that.
Which is, oh god, so great.
You all remember what you were like.
I've never screamed so loud for anything in my life.
Hawkeye's cameo in Thor is so brief and so unimportant.
Unless you know what to look for, you're not gonna understand it. And if you don't know what to look for, it's just part of the story.
Right, it may be a little weird, but it's so unimportant. Nick Fury shows up for 30 minutes in the movie and, talks to Tony Stark and whatever.
See, the part where, actually, going off a tangent a little bit and talking about Iron Man 2, I think that's the part where the movie actually starts to get a narrative structure is when Nick Fury is introduced into the movie. But anyway, talking about Thor, Yeah, there's no Nick Fury until secret ending. There's nothing like that. There's a little throwaway comment to, I think, what's supposed to be a reference to Eric Bana.
The Hulk.
Bruce Banner, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really cool. You know, their shield is prevalent. I don't say prevalent. I don't think it's a word. Shield is prevalent in this movie, but once again, it's part of the story. You know, they're an action scene in the way of Thor getting his hammer back. So there's a purpose for them. And by the end of the movie, Thor basically tells him, "I want to be part of the Avengers," in so many or so few words. I think we pretty much covered it.
I think we've bored you to death enough.
Well, that's why they're watching us, is because they want to know what we have to say.
Yeah.
Don't feel ashamed.
You guys need to find a life.
People turn on my videos because they give a damn
They come
about
to see
what I
me.
have
They
to
don't
say.
give
Oh, you don't have to say that.
Yep.
My site is PG-13. Oh!
I'm Richard, the film critic, because my opinion is just that interesting.
Oh, no!
I'll see you next time.